Okay, in this clip I'm going to go over some additional features that Summit has to offer, and I try to put them in put it in chronological order so it kind of helps you see that departmental concept that we were referring to. So we went ahead and we moved the vehicle and made a warm handoff from your administrative office up front to your disassembly blueprint. So now the vehicle's in the disassembly blueprint stage of the repair, and at this time your disassembly team has disassembled the vehicle, identified the parts and labor necessary to repair the vehicle, and they've written a complete repair plan. At that time, your estimating person will go in, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to see that the estimate comes over from the estimating system exactly the way that your profiles are set up. And typically the profiles can be set up to where, and I'm going to use EPC as a good example, may come in as sublet because this is the way your DRP partner has asked for you to set up your estimating system. So if that's the case, in our management system, anything that has a retail dollar, we may want to start to department those in what makes more sense to us in a reporting of income and cost associated with your jobs. So the sublet comes in for EPC and flex additive, and we would really like to see those department in the correct department. So the next step in the process would be that your estimator, if the scrubber, and this is our scrub, is set up correctly, I can right click and scrub the estimate and put the items where we would like to have them. In this case, I don't have the scrubber set up correctly on my demo model, so I'm going to go ahead and manually do it. So I'm going to come down and I'm going to put it in shop supplies for flex additive, and here I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put hazardous waste as hazardous waste. So when I print a report, I'll be able to see the income and cost that I may have associated with hazardous waste, shop supplies for my flex additive, and my paint material comes over as paint material. Now I have an income and a cost associated to this job, as well as in my reporting, I can start to see what my income is for the month and my cost associated with my paint material and my cost centers, including my bumper cover that came in as a new part. So anything that's tagged as new, aftermarket, used, reconditioned, whatever case may be, should walk over from your estimating system exactly the way it's identified in the estimating system. So at that time, my estimator just went ahead and he finished his work, and before he moves the vehicle, he may in fact want to assign labor to the disassembly person. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and assign a disassembly person to the vehicle. And we may end up assigning the paint time to our team if we have painters set up in a team. At this time, we have all of the labor assigned to the appropriate person that's going to be doing the repair work. So now we have an opportunity, once the vehicle moves from one department to the other, whether you're flat rate, hourly, or team, the team would start to move the vehicle, and we can drop percentages of completion as well as percentages of cost associated with that person's labor. If we're flat rate, if we're hourly, we've just measured this person's time and cost associated with disassembly. So what's happening is, as we go ahead and start to work our way through the process of repairing the vehicle, we're also gathering the information on what the cost associated is, and we're also working toward closing. So Summit automatically helps you close and associate all your costs so that you don't have the daunting task of figuring this all out in the end. And it also will put it in very clean reporting for you to better understand and maybe possibly make improvements in your business. So I went ahead and assigned labor. My vehicle's in blueprint disassembly, and I'm going to go ahead and go to the next step in the process. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and show you the scheduling, an opportunity to look at scheduling in a workload environment. So I'm going to go to the Schedule tab, the sub-tab Workload, and I want to look at how my workload currently looks in my shop for all vehicles either scheduled in or in production at this time. So we're going to talk a little bit about the workload schedule. So what we have is the vehicles have been arranged and dropped in according to how many labor hours per day that we're going to put on the vehicle. So if this vehicle comes in on the 18th, and just say for instance it's a 20-hour job with 5 labor hours per day being allocated, and we're not working Saturday and Sunday, which is omitted, this vehicle is going to have a scheduled in date and a scheduled out date, so it would be 5 hours per day each day for a total of 20, which this vehicle would go out on the 23rd. Now I know that's not what the formula is on this vehicle. It was 3 hours per day, and this vehicle is actually due out on the 22nd. Now if I want to change the due in or due out date, I have an opportunity to do just that, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how that's performed. I came up here to schedule in, clicked on it, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change that date manually to the 21st is when the vehicle is going to go into production. So I'm going to hit OK, and what we're going to have an opportunity to do is start to track the reason why we've changed scheduled in or scheduled out date, and this will give us an opportunity to start to understand why we're missing the target delivery dates on our customer and communicate that with our customer. But more important, we're going to look at an opportunity to look at possible reasons why these cars are late, and we can have an opportunity to better improve our either process, or it could be we're having an issue with a parts procurement, and this will give us an opportunity to drill down and understand where those problems lie and find solutions to correcting those problems. So back to the scheduling. In our scheduling, how we have this set up is when we first set the software up, I sit down and will establish what your capacity is, how many labor hours per day, per week, per month you're currently capable of doing. So this is a bucket, and picture it as a bucket that we can fill up with a certain amount of hours, whether they're work in process or work coming in. So this is going to give you an opportunity to look and see how your workload is balanced, if you're out of balance, and if you can bring additional work in, and what dates would be available. And in this schedule that I have up in front of you, you can see that I have green dots, very visual, easy to understand. Right now I know that I have 86.1 hours booked in for the 14th, whether it's in production already or if it is an opportunity to bring additional work in. So say for instance I have 160 labor hours I'm capable of getting in and out of the shop within a day's time. What happens is once we have this set up, it will give us an opportunity to see if it's green, it's okay to come in, and then it will turn yellow to caution you, and it will also turn red to tell you that you're overloaded or over capacity. The opportunity to put a black dot in here, what that's going to represent is if I have a technician that's 200% efficient and he's capable of producing 16 billable labor hours per day, and this week he's on vacation, I can omit him from this schedule and detune the amount of hours that I can bring in for that given period of time. So that kind of gives you an overview of what the bucket schedule looks like and how you can utilize it to your advantage. So I'm going to go back out. We've did a disassembly on the vehicle. We've written a repair plan. We have all of our line items in the appropriate fields for our accounting to where we want to department the income and cost center. And at this time, I can go ahead and I may want to order parts. So remember we talked about going in and doing notes? Well, at this time, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do an internal email and introduce you to the internal email. So this is an Interoffice email, and I have a drop-down menu of all the folks that work with my area or my departments, and at this time I'm going to send an email internally to Tim, and I'm going to go ahead and ask him to please order parts, POP. And where I have saved to expanded notes, we reviewed the expanded notes. What's cool is I don't have to go back into my notes and write in that I went ahead and have parts ordered or asked for parts to be ordered. At this time, when I go in and send that email, I have a pre-populated generation of information that I went ahead and did this function, time-stamped and dated, but here in my expanded notes is my most current, subject is on this RR number, and I went ahead and sent please order parts to Tim. So at that point, I may end up going ahead and go back into the notes, and I might want to go ahead and send the owner an email. So I'm going to externally email, and I can go ahead and email the client that I went ahead and changed the delivery date, or I can email the customer service representative to go ahead and do that as well. So whatever the email that goes out to the client, it will also save in expanded notes. So I can go ahead and have that communication up in my expanded note area. So that gives you an opportunity to see how you can use the expanded notes. You don't have to go in and do processes over and over again, or steps in a process. This gives you an opportunity to see how Summit can help you do things one time and move forward and not have to go back and do it. And it's still going to give you an opportunity to have that communication log and the validation that these steps have been done. So my vehicle is in disassembly blueprint. I've asked for my parts person to please order parts, and I possibly at that time had already validated part prices or availability so that I can communicate that with the customer. So I have what I consider a one and done repair plan, and at this time I can move the vehicle from the blueprint to the blueprint disassembly to my parts. And then again, we have that checklist, departmental checklist, that has been completed. And at this time, the car does move to the next department, and now we have it in parts. Now your parts person is managing his parts right here in this area. I'm going to go ahead and close out on this clip so that I can go in to the next clip and focus on parts and how your parts person would be able to manage the parts, and I can bring you into a deeper part of the program. Thank you.